I thought my sister's wedding was the happiest day of our lives until I found a note in her fiancé's jacket that turned my family upside down. My name is Lily, and I grew up believing family was everything. My sister, Jenna, and I were inseparable, 2 years apart, sharing secrets, giggling over boys, dreaming about our futures in our small Ohio town. Our parents were the kind of people who'd host neighborhood barbecues, always with a pot of chili and stories to tell. Jenna was the radiant one, with her bright smile and plans to marry her high school sweetheart, Ryan. I was the quieter one, content to support her, to plan her wedding, to be the maid of honor she deserved. Last summer, when she announced her engagement, our house buzzed with excitement. It was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives, a celebration of love and unity. But a week before the wedding, I stumbled onto something that unraveled everything I thought I knew about my sister, my family, and myself. It started with a simple task. Jenna asked me to pick up Ryan's suit from the tailor, since he was swamped with work. He's a carpenter, always building something, decks, furniture, dreams, and I admired his dedication. I drove to the shop, grabbed the garment bag, and brought it home to hang in the guest room. As I unzipped it to check the fit, a folded piece of paper slipped out of the jacket pocket. I didn't mean to pry, but it fell open and the words caught my eye. Ryan, I can't stop thinking about you. Last night was everything. Meet me tomorrow. It was signed with a heart and the initial M. My stomach dropped. Who was M? Why was this in Ryan's jacket a week before his wedding to my sister? I stood there, the suit hanging limp in my hands, my mind racing. I told myself it could be a mistake, a note from a friend, maybe a misunderstanding. But the intimacy of the words, last night, everything gnawed at me. I checked the date on the note. It was from 2 days ago. 2 days. While Jenna was finalizing flower arrangements, Ryan was meeting someone else. I felt sick, torn between protecting my sister and needing to know more. I didn't confront him right away. I slipped the note into my purse and spent the night pacing my room, replaying every interaction I'd had with Ryan. He'd always been kind to me, teasing me about my terrible cooking, helping me move furniture when I got my first apartment. Had it all been a lie? The next morning, I decided to dig deeper. I wasn't proud of it, but I checked Ryan's social media while he was out with Jenna picking up the cake. His accounts were private, but I noticed a new follower, Maggie Larson, a woman I vaguely remembered from high school. She'd been a year ahead of us, popular, confident, the kind of person who turned heads. Her profile had a recent post, a photo of a coffee shop with the caption, "Best date nights here." The timestamp was from last night. My heart pounded. I cross-referenced Ryan's location data from our family group chat. He'd said he was working late. The coffee shop was across town from his workshop. The pieces were falling into place, and I didn't like the picture they formed. I needed proof, something undeniable. I asked Jenna if I could borrow Ryan's jacket for a fitting check, saying the tailor might have messed up the sleeves. She laughed, trusting me completely, and handed it over. Alone in my room, I went through the pockets again, finding a crumpled receipt from that coffee shop, dated the same night as Maggie's post. There was also a hotel keycard, the logo faded but recognizable, the Riverside Inn, a place an hour away. My hands shook as I held it. Had Ryan taken Maggie there? While Jenna planned their future, was he building something else with her? I felt like I was betraying my sister by even thinking it, but I couldn't unsee the evidence. I decided to follow him. That night, he said he had a last-minute client meeting and left the house. I waited 10 minutes, then trailed him in my car, my heart in my throat. He drove past his workshop, straight to the Riverside Inn. I parked across the street, watching as he walked inside, a woman meeting him at the door, Maggie, her laugh carrying in the evening air. They disappeared into the lobby, and I sat there, tears streaming down my face. My sister's fiancé, the man she loved, was cheating on her a week before their wedding. I took a photo through my windshield, the timestamp glowing on my screen. It was real, and I had to tell her. But how? Jenna was my best friend, my confidant. She'd been planning this wedding since she was a kid, sketching dresses, picking venues. I imagined her face, hurt, betrayed, broken, and I couldn't breathe. I drove home, the photo burning in my phone, and sat with my parents. They noticed my red eyes, asked what was wrong. I couldn't lie to them. I showed them the note, the receipt, the photo. My mom gasped, her hand over her mouth, while my dad's face hardened. "We need to talk to Jenna," he said. I nodded, but the thought of breaking her heart made me want to run. The next day, we sat Jenna down in the living room. She was glowing, talking about the rehearsal dinner, when I interrupted. "Jenna, I found something," I said, my voice shaking. I handed her the note first, watching her expression shift from confusion to disbelief. "What is this?" she whispered. I showed her the receipt, the keycard, the photo. Her hands trembled as she looked at Maggie's face next to Ryan's. "No," she said, shaking her head. "This can't be real." My mom held her, tears in her eyes, while my dad paced, furious. Jenna didn't cry at first. She just stared, her world collapsing. Ryan came over that afternoon, oblivious. Jenna met him at the door, the evidence in her hands. "Who is Maggie?" she asked, her voice steady but cold. He froze, stammering, saying it was nothing, a mistake. But the photo silenced him. He admitted it, months with Maggie, secret meetings, a connection he couldn't explain. He begged Jenna to forgive him, said he loved her, but the damage was done. She threw the ring at his feet, telling him to leave. He tried to argue, but my dad stepped in, escorting him out. The house went quiet, the weight of it settling over us. Jenna broke down after he left, sobbing in my arms. I felt her pain like it was my own, wishing I could take it away. My parents were devastated, blaming themselves for not seeing it. I was angry at Ryan, at Maggie, at myself for not noticing sooner. But I also felt a strange resolve. I couldn't fix this for Jenna, but I could be there. We canceled the wedding, returned the deposits, faced the whispers of our town. It was humiliating, but we leaned on each other. I started helping Jenna plan her next step, moving out, finding a job, reclaiming her life. I began noticing things I'd missed. Ryan's late nights, his distracted calls, the way he'd avoid eye contact at family dinners. Had Maggie been there all along? I dug into his past, finding old messages on a shared family iPad, flirty texts from Maggie dating back a year. It wasn't a fling, it was a pattern. I gave them to Jenna, who nodded grimly. She was done with him, but the betrayal cut deep. We started therapy together, a family session to heal. Our parents joined, and slowly, we began to rebuild. I took on more, organizing the house, cooking meals, anything to keep us moving forward. One night, I found a box of Jenna's wedding plans, dresses, invitations, dreams. She sat with me, tearing them up, her hands steady now. "I deserve better," she said. I agreed, vowing to help her find it. I started a journal, writing about our pain, our strength, our sisterhood. It wasn't just for us, it was for every woman who'd been betrayed. I didn't know where this path would lead, but I knew one thing. We weren't broken. We were just beginning. The weeks after canceling Jenna's wedding were a blur of pain and quiet strength. The house felt different, empty chairs where Ryan used to sit, silence where laughter once filled the air. We returned the deposits, faced the pitying looks from neighbors, and tried to piece ourselves together. Jenna was a shadow of herself at first, her bright smile replaced by a distant stare. I'd find her holding the torn wedding invitations, tears falling silently. Our parents were heartbroken, blaming themselves for trusting Ryan, while I carried the guilt of finding the note too late. But we didn't break. We leaned into each other, and that became our lifeline. I threw myself into keeping us going. I cooked dinners, burnt casseroles at first, but Jenna would laugh through her tears, helping me salvage them. We started a routine, waking the kids, my niece and nephew, Lily and Jake, who stayed with us while their mom, our cousin, recovered from surgery, getting them to school, filling the days with normalcy. Jenna joined me, slowly, her hands trembling as she packed lunches. It was small, but it was something. Our therapy sessions helped too, a family circle where we cried, yelled, and began to heal. The therapist, Dr. Evans, suggested we focus on what we could control, and that became our mantra. One afternoon, a letter arrived, addressed to Jenna. It was from Ryan, his handwriting shaky. "I'm sorry," it started. "Maggie meant nothing. I love you. Please let me explain." I watched Jenna read it, her face hardening. She tore it up, throwing the pieces into the trash. "He doesn't get to rewrite this," she said. I agreed, but the letter stirred something in me, anger, yes, but also a need to protect her from more hurt. I started checking our mail daily, screening for anything from him. It wasn't trust, it was survival. A few days later, another letter came, this time with a photo, Ryan and Maggie at a park, smiling. My blood boiled. He wasn't sorry, he was mocking us. I decided to confront Maggie. I found her address through an old yearbook and drove there, my hands tight on the wheel. She opened the door, surprised but not hostile. "I know about you and Ryan," I said, showing her the photo. Her face fell. "I didn't know he was engaged," she admitted. Not until the wedding was called off. She explained Ryan had told her he was single, ending things when the truth came out. But the photo proved otherwise. "He's still contacting me," she said, handing me texts, recent ones, begging her to meet. I left, furious, but grateful for the proof. I gave it to Jenna, who nodded grimly. "He's not my problem anymore," she said, but I saw the pain in her eyes. The fallout hit our family hard. Our aunt, Jenna's godmother, stopped speaking to us, blaming Jenna for overreacting. She'd always adored Ryan, seeing him as the son she never had. It hurt, but we leaned on Mom and Dad, who stood by us. I started a journal, writing about the betrayal, the sisterhood that held us up. One night, I read an entry to Jenna about her strength, our bond. She smiled, the first real one in weeks. "Keep writing," she said. It sparked something. I posted anonymously online, a short piece about family betrayal. The response was overwhelming, comments from women sharing their stories. It gave me purpose, a way to turn pain into connection. Jenna began to change too. She enrolled in a community college course, something she'd postponed for Ryan. I drove her to classes, proud of her courage. But then Ryan showed up at our house again, uninvited. It was a Saturday, the kids playing in the yard. He stood on the porch, flowers in hand. "I've ended it with Maggie," he said. "I want us back." Jenna's voice was steel. "You don't get to decide that." I stepped between them, telling him to leave. He argued, saying the kids, Lily and Jake, needed him. It was a low blow, using my cousin's children against us. I called the police, and he left, but the encounter left us shaken. I started locking doors, installing a security camera. It felt extreme, but Ryan's persistence scared me. Jenna grew quieter, retreating to her room. I worried she was slipping back, but one day, she came out with a sketchbook, drawings of flowers, bold and vibrant. "I used to love this," she said. We turned it into a project, painting our living room with her designs. The kids joined, their laughter filling the space. It was messy, beautiful, a step forward. I kept blogging, my following growing. A local women's group invited me to speak, and Jenna came too, sharing her art. The applause was a balm, a sign we were more than our pain. Then came a legal twist. Ryan filed for visitation rights to Lily and Jake, claiming a family connection through our cousin. It was absurd, he'd barely seen them, but it forced us into court. I hired a lawyer, pooling savings with mom and dad. The process was grueling, testimonies about Ryan's behavior, Maggie's texts as evidence. Jenna testified, her voice steady, about the betrayal. The judge denied his claim, citing his instability, but the stress took its toll. Jenna had nightmares, and I stayed up, comforting her. Our therapist suggested a retreat, and we planned a weekend at a lake house, just as sisters. The retreat was a turning point. We hiked, swam, talked late into the night. Jenna opened up about feeling lost, but also hopeful. I shared my blog's success, reading comments from women who felt seen. We made a pact to keep growing together. Back home, I launched a small online store, selling Jenna's art prints. It wasn't much, but it was ours. Ryan tried calling again, but I blocked him. His shadow lingered, but it was fading. I started volunteering at a women's shelter, using my writing to help others. Jenna joined, teaching art classes. We were rebuilding, not just surviving. One evening, we sat in our painted living room, the kids asleep, flowers blooming outside. Jenna smiled, really smiled. "We're okay," she said. I nodded, feeling it too. The betrayal had scarred us, but it hadn't broken us. We were sisters, fighters, creators. The future wasn't clear, but it was ours to shape. And that was enough. The lake house retreat left us lighter, like we'd shed a layer of the pain Ryan had caused. Back home, the painted living room with Jenna's flower designs felt like a sanctuary, the kids' laughter, Lily and Jake, echoing through it. We were finding our rhythm, selling Jenna's art prints online, volunteering at the women's shelter, building something new. But life doesn't let you heal in a straight line. Just when we thought we'd left Ryan behind, he found another way to disrupt us, forcing us to dig deeper into our strength and redefine our family. The trouble started with a call from our lawyer, Sarah, a week after the retreat. Ryan had appealed the court's decision, claiming emotional distress and demanding shared custody of Lily and Jake, arguing his uncle-like role gave him rights. It was a stretch, but it reopened the wound. Jenna's hands shook as she listened, her art sketches forgotten. I felt the old anger flare, but also a resolve to protect her. We met Sarah at her office, a small space filled with legal books and hope. She explained Ryan's appeal hinged on our cousin's temporary absence. Her recovery had delayed her return, leaving the kids with us. "We'll fight it," Sarah said, "but it'll take time. Time we didn't want to give him." I threw myself into preparing. I gathered every piece of evidence, Maggie's texts, the hotel keycard photo, Ryan's letters, organizing them into a timeline. Jenna joined me, her determination growing. We testified again, our voices steady as we recounted the betrayal, the canceled wedding, his persistence. The courtroom was tense, Ryan's lawyer painting him as a misunderstood man. I saw Maggie in the back, avoiding our eyes, and wondered if she'd testify. She didn't, but her silence spoke volumes. The judge deliberated for days, and when the ruling came, it was a relief. Ryan's appeal was denied, his behavior deemed unstable. But the victory felt hollow. The stress had drained us. Jenna retreated after that, sketching less, staring out windows. I worried she was slipping, but one night, she showed me a new drawing, a phoenix rising from ashes. "That's us," she said. It was beautiful, raw, a symbol of our rebirth. I framed it, hanging it in the living room, and it sparked something. We started an art therapy group at the shelter, inviting women to paint their pain, their hope. Jenna led it, her confidence returning with each brushstroke. I kept blogging, my roots and wings platform growing, now with thousands of followers. A publisher contacted me, offering to turn my posts into a book. It was surreal, but I said yes, pouring my heart into it. The kids, Lily and Jake, became our anchors. They asked about Ryan less, focusing on school and our garden. We expanded it, adding a vegetable patch, their small hands planting tomatoes. It was messy, joyful, a reminder of life beyond the hurt. But Ryan wasn't done. He started showing up at the kids' school, claiming he wanted to check on them. The principal called, and I drove over, furious. He stood by the gate, flowers in hand again. "They're family," he said. I told him to leave, my voice firm, and the school banned him. It was a small win, but it left me shaken. I installed another camera, tightened security, determined to keep our peace. Jenna's art gained traction. A local gallery offered her a solo show, and we planned it together. Invitations, catering, her phoenix as the centerpiece. The night was magical, women from the shelter attending, sharing stories, buying her work. I read from my book draft, tears in my eyes as they clapped. It was healing, a circle of strength. But the next day, Ryan crashed it. He showed up at the gallery, drunk, yelling about his rights. Security removed him, but Jenna broke down, her hard-won peace shattered. I held her, promising we'd get through it. We filed a restraining order, and this time, the court granted it, citing his harassment. The order brought relief, but also exhaustion. I leaned on my blog community, their support pouring in messages, donations for the shelter. Jenna channeled her anger into art, creating a series called Broken Bonds, each piece a testament to betrayal and resilience. We hosted a fundraiser, raising thousands, the room alive with women reclaiming their stories. I finished my book, titling it Unraveled Roots, Rising Wings, a nod to our journey. The publisher loved it, scheduling a release for next spring. It felt like a dream, one I'd built from ashes. Ryan's attempts faded, his calls blocked, his presence a distant echo. The restraining order held, and he moved out of town, rumors sang with Maggie. I didn't care where he went, only that he was gone. Jenna and I grew closer, our sisterhood of fortress. We planned the Grand Canyon trip, saving for it, the kids excited about camping. I started a podcast, Healing Threads, interviewing women who'd survived betrayal, Jenna co-hosting with her art insights. It took off, our voices reaching thousands, a platform for hope. One evening, we sat in the garden, tomatoes ripe, the phoenix glowing inside. Jenna laughed, a sound I'd missed, as Lily and Jake chased fireflies. "We did it," she said. I nodded, feeling it too. The betrayal had scarred us, but it hadn't defined us. We were sisters, creators, survivors, building a legacy of strength. The future held uncertainty, my book, her art, the kids' dreams, but it was ours. And that was everything.